Hey everyone, welcome to our Coachella 2014 Spreecast. We're live chatting here. I'm Timothy Guy with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. Joining me, Vanessa Farango.
Hello. How are you?
So this is an interactive experience. I'm good. This is an interactive experience. So we want to hear what you think. You can ask us questions. There's a little blue question button you can ask there. Over on the right to you, there's a chat with other participants. You can chat with other people. You can chat with us. We can put things on the screen. The possibilities are endless. Vanessa, there's other ways to contact us too.
Yes, you can actually find us on Twitter as well. You can follow me at Vanessa Franco, or you can use the hashtag PE Coachella. So if for some reason it's not taking your questions and you want to ask it on Twitter, hashtag PE Coachella. So, you ready for
And
me?
the question period, we'll ask questions at the end. So you can post questions the entire time. If you want to hop in on one of the conversations, you can let me know. I'm the Press Enterprise. So you can message me directly or you can chat and I will see it that way.
All right. Well, I'm pretty excited. We've got like some great guests. We've got some people in the newsroom here to talk about Coachella. We also have some amazing Coachella goers who have agreed to be on camera with us. Up first is Imran Gori, one of the reporters here at the Press Enterprise, who has gone to Coachella more than I have, even. So I'm really excited that Imran's going to be here. I think he's been going, like, this might be his 12th year. He might have gone to 12. I could be exaggerating on that, but I'm sure he'll tell us in just a minute. So, Imran, how many years have you been going to Coachella, Imran?
Uh, the upcoming one will be my 13th year. I've gone to all of them except for the first two.
Wow, wow. So let's get right into it. Who do you like there as a headliner? Who do you think is going to be a headliner this year?
Well, I think Arcade Fire is the band that seems to be the lock on a headliner. They have a new album out. They've played every year, or rather, every time they've had a new album out, they've played three times now. So it's uh, they're a logical Coachella band. Each album has kind of represented a progression in their career from breakthrough band in 2005 to headliners in 2011. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Well, and especially like their tour dates just came out last week, and it was really funny because, by the way, thank you to everyone who sent me an email, a Facebook message, a tweet as soon as they announced those dates, and there was that big gap in the middle of April, and there were no Southern California
Right.
dates. Everyone was like Coachella, Coachella. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a lock for them to be headliner. An interesting fact is, I believe, according to my calculations, this will be the closest time between headliners that there has ever been at Coachella, because the last time they headlined was 2011.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a short gap in between. So, and as you said, when you see those tour schedules and there's a gap in Southern California in spring, you kind of assume Coachella.
Well, and speaking of another band that's got a lot that has a gap in the tour schedule is Neutral Milk Hotel. What do you think about that? Are we going to see that reunion?
I definitely hope so because it was great to see Jeff Mangum there a couple years ago, but that's no comparison to seeing the full band. They're a cult band that's very well loved. That people they put out their last album was what, like 10 years ago. So they've been touring on the East Coast and they don't have any West Coast dates yet, but Coachella seems a logical place for them to make their West Coast appearance.
Well, and I feel like people would give up a kidney to see them. It's like, I don't know what it is. Like my friends on the East Coast, they were like already like upset at me that I got to see Jeff Mangum when he did Coachella a couple years ago. And I think that people like that's something that's really going to get like, I think those core Coachella fans, I think that's a reunion they're looking for.
Definitely. Like I said, when he played, was it 2 years ago? There's just he played solo acoustic. It was just you could hear a needle drop, just a hush for his uh, set there. But the full band experience is something I think a lot of us who are Neutral Milk Hotel fans have not experienced. So would love to see.
I think it would be great. Well, who else do you think is going to be there? We talked a little bit earlier today about some of your other picks.
Well, there's a new band called Churches, or a Scottish band, kind of a synth pop band, and somewhat like Depeche Mode, Erasure style. They've been getting a lot of buzz. They're also touring, and I think they might have some dates free in April next year. So they seem to be a logical pick for Coachella.
And there's somebody close to your heart that you think that could be a long shot headliner. Is it going to happen? Tell the crowd.
It's idle speculation, but U2 has a new album that's supposed to come out, I think, in March or April. They've been one of those. They've never played Coachella, and they've been one of those bands that I know Golden Voice has wanted to get, and Bono even showed up for a Coachella party last year, was it? I think, and I think their management has checked out Coachella, so that would be a quite a get for Coachella to get them, and it'd be perfect timing because they have a new album coming out and start to get some buzz for that new album next year.
Well, and Bono was there last year, like he was just hanging out backstage. So, I mean, my only thing against it is that they have the touring deal with Live Nation. Live Nation is a competitor of AEG. Exactly, Brad Prescott just like mentioned, isn't U2 linked with Live Nation? And that's kind of like my only thing is that Live Nation is a competitor of AEG, which owns Coachella, and that's the only reason I think that they wouldn't be there. Plus, I mean, it would be a spectacle. But then again, like I feel like U2, if they wanted to do Coachella, like they would make it happen, so they would do Coachella.
Well, they had Madonna a number of years ago, and she was also with Live Nation, right? So and wasn't Jay-Z also a Live Nation artist? So I think there was a precedent, but uh, who knows? Like you said, they're big enough where they can tell Live Nation that they want to play Coachella, they'll play Coachella.
Well, awesome. Well, Imran, thank you so much for stopping in. I think next we're going to go to Nate Hutchinson, who has been an awesome Coachella reader. Imran, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Thanks.
And so if you're just joining us, I've noticed a lot of people coming in. By the way, hi, I'm Vanessa Franco. I'm the music reporter here at the Press Enterprise. I've been covering Coachella since 2007 and Stagecoach. Love it. It's probably my favorite part of the job. Next, we have Nate Hutchinson. Nate and I have become Facebook friends over all of our Coachella bonding. And Nate, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is fun. Getting me
Right.
in the mood for next April.
All right. So last week we were talking on Facebook. You had your predictions for headliners. You said Friday Beck, Saturday Daft Punk, Sunday Arcade Fire, and that was before the Arcade Fire information came out with the tour. So are you still sticking by those headliners?
Well, the Outcast thing actually kind of throwing me off, but I think I'm gonna stick with it. I think Daft Punk kind of made everybody crazy last year because the hype and the Phoenix thing and the new album. But I think if you're looking at a list, if you're writing names of artists down that could show up at Coachella this year, I think you can't rule them out just because last year everybody went nuts over it. I mean, they produced some of the songs on the Kanye album. I mean, they're still sticking around. They had that commercial that played during the festival last year. I mean, they're not. I know they kind of put an album out every once in a while, and they're the robot masks and everything, but they're not. I don't think they're too shy to do it this year.
Well, is it possible that Outcast is actually Daft Punk? Like Outcast will be in the Daft Punk helmets?
That could be something else. I don't know, but the Outcast things, the evidence seems pretty strong for Outcast, but the evidence seemed pretty strong for Daft Punk last year, and all kind of fizzled out. So maybe, and then maybe Arcade Fire aren't headliners, and they're opening for Outcast on Sunday night. And
That could
maybe I
be
don't
that
know.
could be too. Well, I think
That
Beck. I
might,
think Beck is a good pick. I like the idea of Beck being there.
yeah, and there was so Beck has a new album, and they actually started. I saw today he had a big thing in Rolling Stone with David Fricke, like a whole talking about the new album, and that's like a sequel to Sea Change, which was like his last big great album. So I think there's going to be a lot of hype. It's going to be a lot of. It comes out in February. Um, a lot of people are going to be into it, and then by the time April rolls around, I think people will be pretty excited to see him again. And he's played before, so I think he's kind of a perfect fit for that Friday night.
I think it could be good. Any other picks on the undercard level who you think are going to be there?
Yeah, I'm liking Stephen Malkmus and the Jicks. I think they got a new album coming out. From Pavement, the Silver Jews, and their last album was really good. They got one coming out in January. I think they're kind of that that late in the day pick, the big font. But, they'll be a big thing. I was thinking them, and I was liking Heim, and I was liking Heim a lot.
We'll
So
definitely be talking
those
about
two,
them in a bit.
yeah. So
Well,
there, there were some other ones I was kicking around, kind of the lower font. I mean, that stuff becomes clearer, I think, too, when right around the end of the year when we know what albums are coming out in the spring more, and then the bands that appeared kind of on the best of 2013 lists that weren't on last year's festival, those usually come back around. Like bands like last year was Dive, and a couple others that I think kind of caught on more towards the end of the year.
how many years have you been going to Coachella now, Nate?
Just a few. Just I've been following it for a while because I've always lived here, but I finally just started going a few years ago. So something I always dreamed of doing. I finally made it come true. But I've always been really interested in the lineups, and a couple of years I didn't go just because I didn't get tickets in time. So now they got 2 weekends, and tickets are a little easier to get. So now I go. It's easier to go.
Well, I like your Stephen Malkmus in the Jix prediction. I really like that. I loved Pavement Set a couple years ago. I also have a soft spot in my heart for him because he's the only person I know who has written a song with the name Vanessa in the title, Vanessa from Queens. So, Stephen Malkmus is now close to my heart.
There you go. I think put that on the. I think it'll be a strong possibility.
We'll have to ask, we'll
And the
ask
new
the
song,
Coachella
the new
Magic 8
song's really
Ball at
good.
the end. Well, awesome. Nate, thank you so much for being here. And I know you're at work, like huge appreciation. Thanks for joining us and chatting. And so up next, we have another PE reporter who has gone to Coachella many times. Then this reporter, David Olson, is amazing. And I will tell a story about when we went to see X a couple of years ago when they played. I was out in the back, like typing away, and David's like, hold on, I'm going to go try to get in the mosh pit. Like, I've never seen anyone with more energy at Coachella than you, David Olson. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa.
So how many years have you been going to Coachella now?
So this will be my 10th year in a
Wow.
row,
Wow.
ever since I've lived in Southern California. Yeah.
So now you've got a certain band. There's been a band that you saw already this year that played a couple years ago that you like for Coachella 2014. Tell us who it is.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Arctic Monkeys, and it did play in 2012. So it seems like it may be too close, but this album AM is really getting them more airplay than I think they even got in their debut album. And so I think that they're a possibility, even though it was just 2 years ago. And I saw them at the Wiltern, and they great show, and they're getting bigger and bigger. They're headlining Madison Square Garden, which is a big deal for them, which they wouldn't have been able to do a few years ago. So I think that's a possibility. And the
And
album
then
just
you
came
have
out a few months.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've kind of grown. They've been one of those bands. Coachella does a lot. Like you'll see, like Arcade Fire is a perfect example, where it's like a band will start out in a tent and then they'll like move to the outdoor stage. Although I think Arcade Fire
Exactly.
actually started out on the outdoor stage. But I think Arctic Monkeys is one of those where every time they release a new album, it just seems to get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So I wouldn't be surprised. They did main stage a couple of years ago. So do they get the coveted Sunset set now? I don't know.
They could. They could. I'm trying to remember. Were they Sunset 2 years ago? They were maybe early evening. I can't remember where they were, but they've moved a little bit later in the day from when they first played in 2006 or so. But yeah.
So now another place where I've seen like a lot of Coachella bands like appear before they appear on the Coachella lineup is at FYF, which is in LA every
Uh-huh.
is it around Labor Day weekend when they do that? It's like late August, early
Usually
September.
in late August, I think. Yeah.
So now you went this
And yeah,
past year.
I did, and I saw a band, one of my favorite bands in the world, Deer Hunter, and they put on I would call it a life-changing experience. I'd say it was it was the best concert of the year, and it was just amazing. So and I'm a big fan of the last three albums, in fact. So I'm really hoping they play, and they seem like they would be not quite a lock, but I think they'd be a good possibility for Coachella. And
I mean,
their Monomania is a great album, and Halcyon Digest from 2010 is an awesome album. So I'm really hoping they play.
so another band that I saw, because like Coachella always has the resident like old school punk band, and
Uh-huh.
this past year was Descendants, which was like my life changing experience at Coachella. I was so
Uh-huh.
happy. I love them. Had never seen them. I think this year it's going to be Flag, which is like one of the two dueling Black Flag ones, but it's the one with Keith Morris and with Bill Stevenson, and they played FYF. I really think that they're going to be that like core punk Coachella band, and I hope that, and Off was there with Keith Morris a couple years back too. So what do you think
Yeah,
about
Off
that?
was great. Yeah. That would be great. That would be great. I saw Flag at FYF. They put on a great show. If I can promote one of my, as you know, I've been promoting a band from Burbank called Touche Amore, and they were, to be honest, I'd never heard of them, and I just stumbled by them and at FYF. They were amazing, and I really hope they play because they're a great band, and I'm a huge fan of them, and they put
That's
on a
awesome.
great show.
That's awesome. I mean, so here we got a couple questions about Arctic Monkeys. Tom Bray wants to know, are the Arctic Monkeys big enough to headline this year? Are they big enough to headline? I kind of think not quite yet.
I would think so, not yet. Maybe the second spot or something like that, because they're not quite at that. I agree. I don't think they're quite at that level yet.
I think, but didn't they play with Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age on the record? Didn't he do a
He,
record with them?
he did, and Josh Homme showed up for sing one song at the Wiltern, which was awesome. To sing, to help with vocals on one song at the Wiltern, and he produced their album AM. So I think he could be that. I could actually, that would be great if they were to play together. Yeah.
I would love to see like Queens of the Stone Age. It's been a while since we've seen Josh Homme. I mean, who is a desert resident. I mean, not see him because he goes to Coachella every year. I swear, like I always see him there, and he's like always like he's there to go to the music too. He's one of like you'll see him kind of like walking around, but
Exactly.
like he definitely goes out into the field to see some bands. Or I guess not really on the field. He's kind of like in the like special VIP pit. But I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Queens of the Stone Age. I'm hoping maybe we'll see them this year. Fingers crossed. Maybe, and maybe he'll show up with Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, and also another band I saw a few weeks ago at Echoplex. I'm really hoping Waves plays. They were amazing show. I mean, the whole place. There were hundreds of people just like bopping up and down. I had a bicycle injury, so I had to stay in the back, unfortunately. But I would love to see them. They were fun. I mean, it's rare you see a crowd that like the entire crowd is just like swaying and jumping up and down and they're Afraid of Heights. Their newest album is a great album, and King of the Beach, their album before. Anyway, I'm really hoping they play. I'd never seen them until a few weeks ago.
I think that they're one. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see them on the lineup this year for sure. I
Yeah,
think that they'll
definitely.
be there. Well, David, thank you so much, and thanks for tuning in and telling us about Arctic Monkeys. I think we're going to go Dave Brooks from Venues Today, another like a real official person. We're going to head over to Dave next. If you're just joining us, hi, welcome. You can type in your questions by hitting the blue question button at the bottom of the screen, or you can chat with other participants. We'll be talking a little bit about answering some of these questions throughout the chat, and we'll also be going at the end for the Magic 8 Ball, the Coachella Magic 8 Ball, which I think Brad asked about. We actually have the Coachella Magic 8 Ball. So at the very end, we will be asking the Magic 8 Ball knows all. But right now, here's Dave. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Hello, I am excellent. I'm playing my favorite game. So it's
This is your favorite game. Dave is like somebody like I think for the last like 3 or 4 years, you and I have like gone back and forth, and we'll just talk about this like not even in an official capacity. We just talk about this for fun.
how much fun do we have on?
So much fun. So much fun. Okay, so Dave, tell me, who are your picks for headliners?
All right. Well, I have to put Arcade Fire because of the routing. Or I go with Outcast because of he has a new channel, right? Everybody has a new channel. We call it. I can. Okay.
Hey, Dave, could you hold the mic just a little bit closer to you?
Oh yes.
So I heard you say Arcade Fire.
Okay. I will repeat. Sorry about that. And Tom Gray, my home. So like I love Arcade Fire. I mean, obviously the routing they announced are more. You can't ignore it. Um, I'm liking Outcast because of the Diddy channel now. In the new Diddy channel, you watch it every day. Revolution TV is out.
Revolution TV, but they didn't really source anybody. They didn't really say like, "Hey," they're just like, "It's been confirmed," and then they like cited the Sleepy Brown photo on Instagram. For crying out loud, I could go on Instagram and be like, "Coachella 2014." You know, here's a picture of a polo ball that I thought was a Rolling Stone, and that means the Rolling Stones are playing. Like, I don't put a lot of faith in it.
We all got caught up in that, huh? I remember that. That was hot. I mean, that's the definition of hype. Well, okay, you're right. I'm still going with it. And I'm going with Bowie. The new album out, got a tour, hits the legacy out. David Bowie, I'm thinking on Sunday night. You heard it from me, Dave Brooks, not David Bowie.
Okay, that is the Coachella like perennial favorite. Like if there are three rumors we hear every year, there's always the Smiths rumor. I know there's a new album, but he says he's never going to tour again. Is it really going to happen? I mean, I'm saying you're officially starring in the rumor for 2014 right here on our live cast.
I'm and a new album wants to tour. Who's the backup vocal on Reflector? It's Bowie.
That would be Mr. David Bowie. That would be David Bowie.
So okay, and I like that Imran, but Imran's got my back here.
Imran.
Sorry, Imran. Okay, so I got a few more picks for you that haven't been announced.
Okay.
Avicii. It's a new album. It's awesome. Avicii's going to be there.
Yeah, he's got huge. Like, I like it.
Yeah, he's awesome. His new album with God, I can't remember the guy's name. They have the new title track that's really good. You know what I'm talking about? Wake Me Up. The song Wake Me Up. Okay. Macklemore. Come on.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot.
Cage the Elephant. Lord.
Yes, Cage the Elephant. I saw that. I believe that.
It's awesome.
Well, and I think Araceli actually mentioned it before. Somebody else mentioned Cage the Elephant. It might have been you actually who mentioned it in the chat. But I like the idea of Cage the Elephant. They were a band that played a couple years ago. They've gotten much bigger since. Yeah, I love that pick. I love it, Dave.
Their new album is great. The band Passenger, getting a lot of play on Sirius Radio. They're an awesome band. The Neighborhood. I like the idea of Beck. And final crazy pick, Oasis reunion.
Really?
That would be it. Well, I did
really like. Crazy. Is there? Wait a minute. Well, I was like, is there any evidence, or like, this is just like Dave's dream? Well, I mean, we had lots of Britpop last year.
Crazy.
I love it. Crazy pick. I love it. I love it.
I like that Brad Prescott gave me the right name for Avicii is Aloe Black. That guy, he is from California. He is awesome. Oh, how awesome would Avicii Aloe Black? That's my opinion.
That would be huge. I like it. I like it a lot. I think you're totally right on that. I'm there. I love it. Well, Dave, thank you so much for being part of it. You're great. I'm sure we'll talk about this even more in the months coming up through when the night's announced.
It's my favorite game to play, Vanessa. You know.
I know it is one of your favorite games to play. It's actually another favorite game for another person here in our office, Eric Paul Johnson. You might have seen him, EPJ, by the numbers. He actually has his own sports show, but he's going to be joining us to talk about all things Coachella. I'm really excited because we saw a number of Coachella bands together last year, second weekend. He was there as a fan, I was there working, but it's kind of the fun part. It's like I get to see my friends that when I run into them out in the field and they tell me who they've seen. If you're just joining us, hi, welcome. We are talking about our Coachella predictions for 2014. There's a blue button below where you can actually ask a question and you can chat over on the right-hand side in the chat window. We will be playing the Coachella Magic 8-Ball game at the very end, so anybody else that you want to talk about, people we may not have mentioned yet, or even ones that we mentioned and you want to hear really what the Magic 8-Ball says, go ahead and put it in the chat window and we will get back to it. But EPJ, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Being here. Thank you so much for 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 being here. All right. You have one strong pick. We had a pick last year with a certain band, and we thought they were going to play, and they didn't play, and now it really looks like they're playing. So why don't you tell the nice folks
Well,
at
I mean,
home
I
who
think it
we're
was
talking
mentioned
about?
earlier, and that would be Haim. I mean, they've kind of everyone expected them last year because a lot of their singles were coming out, but now that the new album Days Are Gone has been released, you have to think that they have so much buzz. They've played Glastonbury, they played some of the other big festivals, that Haim has got to be the one of these strong picks this year, and Coachella needs SD bass face. That is what we need right there. So I definitely
She has an amazing
definitely.
bass
So
voice.
yeah, I think they're kind of too big not to be there right now. I know that I mentioned to you before we had seen articles that there might be family commitments that would prevent them from playing Coachella, but I think at how big they've become right now, I think they're going to have to be able to get on that lineup, and I think they'll be able to find a way to be at Coachella this year.
Well, and I love that your idea that you told me earlier is like, let's make it a family band. Like, let's have the parents come
Yeah,
out
I
and
mean
play Coachella with them too.
the
Why
parents
not?
sometimes join in a band called Rocking Hyam, so it would be nice to see them out there and play a few songs along with them.
So who else? You have some other picks on
Yeah,
people
definitely.
that you think are going to be there.
Daft Punk has always been out there, but if they don't get them, there is another band out there that I think would appease the electronic music crowd out there, and that would be the Knife. I thought they would be there last year, but with their album, this year, Shaking the Habitual, one of my favorite albums of the year, I have to think they'd be there. Karen Anderson, the sister of the sibling act, has been there before, as Fever Ray was there a couple years ago. But I think getting the Knife there, it's kind of it would be a big, get for the electronic crowd, especially if Daft Punk is not one of the headliners out there. So I definitely think the Knife has to be someone to be considered.
So now, do you think that they would be like one of the main stage like electronic acts, or do you think that they would be in the Sahara tent and like everyone would overflow the
That might be
ginormous
an
Sahara
interesting one.
tent
They've
to see
only really,
them?
they only have a couple albums out there, but I think they're well known in the electronic circuit that you can put them out on one of the outdoor stages. But yeah, they would definitely be a big hit inside the Sahara tent as well.
Well, and you have another prediction for another a reunion, right?
Yeah,
We were
we've
talking about a
seen,
reunion
kind of
earlier
a lot
today.
of the reunion acts. Obviously, Neutral Milk Hotel, The Replacements is obviously, big on everyone's minds here. But, one of the other bands I think possibly you could see out there is one of the big shoegaze bands from a few years back, and that is Ride. They would be one of the ones I would love to see. Slow Dive would be another one. But I think Ride is the one that has the strongest possibility perhaps getting there, and kind of pair them up maybe with My Bloody Valentine would be great for the shoegaze crowd.
My ears hurt. My ears hurt saying My Bloody Valentine. The ground shook. It was like there was an
Yeah, well,
earthquake,
you'll
a
have to think
wall
if
of
My Bloody
sound.
Valentine's out there at FYF. If we're talking crossover, they were at FYF this year, and they were handing out earplugs and kind of almost not quite requiring them, but heavily suggesting them because yes, when My Bloody Valentine plays, they want to be as loud as they can.
You said a lot of talk over in the chat window about the replacements. They're one of my picks this year. I know that the replacements have been on the Coachella list for quite some time. They did, like, I believe Tommy Stinson, who was a member of Guns N' Roses, one of the things that kept them from Coachella for so long and reuniting there was that he was playing with Guns N' Roses, and apparently Axl Rose like demanded however much of his time. But the replacements got back together, did Riot Fest. They did it in Chicago, they did it in Denver, and I think Toronto. I think those were the three. I really think they're going to play Coachella, and I think I am going to dance around on the polo fields when they play Alex Chilton. Alex Chilton, yes. It's going to
I
be
agree.
awesome.
I think that's one a lot of people want to see.
You think so? And I think it's going to happen. I really want it to happen. That's probably like one of the higher profile reunion acts for me. And apparently David Olson actually has seen the replacements, and Jessica Asbury was at their like final show when they broke up on stage, but she was only 7. So I hope she gets another chance to see them when now that she's an adult. So do you have any other picks, EPJ? Any
They're
other
kind of
ones that
looking
you
at,
feel really good
people who
about?
put out albums this year. You got to think the Colts will be making a return. Their album just came out about a month ago, so they were there, I believe, in 2011. So I think they're pretty solid to be a return pick. And I've kind of noticed it in the chat room. People talking about Elvis Costello. I think that is a kind of possibility. I know someone mentioned, he has some Australia tour dates that might prohibit that. But if not, it would be interesting to see if could he pull off a Nick Cave one time, play one set with the Attractions and maybe one with the Roots. But right now, it's looking like that might be a long shot now that he does have the tour dates in Australia.
Well, one thing that's interesting is his bassist is actually Davey Farragher, who is from Redlands. And he originally from Redlands, now lives in LA. He was on the members on Cracker's first record. He is also part of the Forest Rangers, which do the music for Sons of Anarchy. They played at Stagecoach last year. They'll be back at Stagecoach this year, which is the week after the second weekend of Coachella. So I don't know, maybe there's enough. I mean, if you're Elvis Costello, you can fly first class and have a fancy schmancy flight and maybe come to
Yeah, because
Coachella.
another band that could
I
be,
hope.
one of my favorite bands of the '90s, Manic Street Preachers. I would love to see there, but their UK tour schedule ends the Saturday of the first weekend. So could they potentially get that done, fly out, and maybe do the Sunday shows at Coachella? I would love to see that one because, one of the bands I would love to see live.
And Dean Landis loves your suggestion. I hope so. I would love that. I would love for him to pull a Nick Cave and do multiple sets with multiple bands. Fingers crossed. It can happen. We can dream. It's Coachella prediction time. We can dream. If Dave can say that it's going to be the year of David Bowie, I think we can
And I'm
dream
on
about
that,
Elvis Costello.
dreaming about Bowie lineup. That would be one of my all-time must-sees at Coachella.
I think it really would be for a lot of people. I think that they would come out. I think a lot of people just with we talked about it a little bit, and then somebody else mentioned it in the chat room. Outcast. I think that's a big must see for a lot of people because they didn't really tour a whole lot. So and you called that last year too. I remember you and I talking about this, and you thought the
Yeah,
Outcast
I
reunion was going
definitely
to
said,
happen
once
last
they
year.
decided to headline or get back together, they would be a headliner at Coachella. So, I was kind of decided that it could be this year or next year, but all signs are pointing that this year would be the year for them to headline.
It's gonna be good. I actually texted my sister because she's a big Outkast fan. It's like one of the few bands that we both really like. And so I sent her a message. I said, okay, so if this happens on a scale of 1 to 10, how jealous would you be? And she said, not as jealous as when I saw Rage Against the Machine. So she said that was a 20. So, but I think it would be pretty rad to see them happen. Well, EPJ, thanks so much for stopping by and for talking with us. Again, we've got lots of people talking over on the right-hand side, like in the chat window. Please keep chatting. We're going to be coming back and getting to all the questions and things that we missed. We've got another guest, another longtime Coachella goer, Jason, who I finally met in person last year at Coachella before we both got like swept away by all of the wind in the windstorm. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing great. I wish it was April.
I know, right? So much better weather, maybe. So who do you like? Who do you think is going to be there?
You want the headline list? You want the small time lower names?
Let's start with headliners. Who you pick for the headliners?
The one name I haven't heard anybody mention yet tonight is 9 Inch Nails. That's kind of a surprise that I haven't heard them come up. Arcade Fire, I think, is an obvious, pretty much a set thing, but 9 Inch Nails would be I think also pretty much a sure thing.
I think that, yeah, I feel like even like, let's say that the Outkast rumors are true and Arcade Fire's there. I feel like you need a real rock act for that third one. And I would think it would be either 9 Inch Nails or Pearl Jam. Those would be my two picks.
Pearl Jam would be great. I saw them at the Coachella grounds back before it was Coachella. That was where they played when they had that whole dispute with Ticketmaster. So that was kind of a cool thing.
Well, and that kind of planted the seeds for Coachella too. That was the first time they did the big show out there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think it's been 20 years, so that'd be kind of a nice return to that.
It'll be 21 in April. So that's why I was convinced it was going to happen this year because of that 20-year mark. But now, Matt Cameron from Soundgarden said he drums for Soundgarden, and Pearl Jam said he's not going to be touring with Soundgarden because of Pearl Jam. So that makes me think maybe we will see Pearl Jam, who are in like San Diego and LA this week. Maybe we'll see them out in the desert. I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, did you see somebody loves your Biffy shirt? They love it.
I went first week. I was lucky because they weren't there the second week last year. That would have been crushing if I didn't see Biffy.
So who else do you like for like some of the smaller acts?
Some names that pop up. I've got a whole list going here. Lorde, I think, is going to be pretty much a sure thing as well. She's obviously getting a lot of hype, a lot of good press, not only here in the States, but in New Zealand and Europe. And so I think she's a good one. I'd also like to see Editors come back. They were there the year Madonna played, and they played at the same time as Madonna. And it was great for me because I got to watch the Editors with a very small crowd, but I think it was kind of sad for them because she drew so many people in the tent. She was right next door and drew in so many people into her show that they kind of got left out of the mix a little bit. And they were great. I've seen them so many times, and seeing them again, I think, would be a really nice addition.
What do you think about David Byrne and St. Vincent? Somebody just mentioned that in the chat room.
I know St. Vincent's been there a few times. I'd love to see David Byrne, but I'd really prefer Talking Heads reunion over anything else. I know that's probably not very likely, but I know they're always really popular, and he's obviously a god in the indie alternative world, so it wouldn't be too bad.
Well, a lot of people are talking about Imagine Dragons. I actually was convinced they were going to be there last year, and it didn't happen. This coming year, they're doing a show at the Redone Forum early in February. So it's kind of out, it's just around the radius clause for the shows in LA before Coachella. I do know that the band opening for them, the Naked and Famous, I've been told by a number of people who apparently, I don't know if they know the band, but I've got reason to believe, I feel good about this, that Naked and Famous are going, another band from New Zealand will be at Coachella 2014. So what do you think? Do you think that Imagine Dragons will be there too?
Like you said, I was also surprised that they were not around last year because that was right when they were starting to really hit it big and they were getting a lot of press. I just saw them in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and it was they drew as big of a crowd as Kings of Leon, Vampire Weekend, and the Killers did. So it wouldn't surprise me. They'd be probably a maybe second to the top on the main stage, I would think, as far as the crowd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Kind of that Arcade Fire, like when Arcade Fire released Neon Bible and they had that penultimate set, or that's kind of, or Mumford and Sons, I think would be another example. When Mumford and Sons played a couple of years back, that kind of level set is where I think that they would end up.
Yeah, if what I saw a few weeks ago is any kind of clue as to how big of a crowd they can draw, they definitely have that potential. I know there's a little bit of crossover success, a little bit of they're a little more radio friendly than some people prefer, but I definitely think that Coachella has those bands, like you said, Mumford and Sons, the ones that have the crossover success. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them at all.
Oh, and they're talking about crossover success over in the chat room too. Lorde, which you mentioned. Yeah, I think Lorde, definitely. I think we will see there. Nate says, yes, if Gautier got on the bill, Lorde gets on 2014. I feel the same way. In fact, I call it the Gautier pick. Gautier was the one hit wonder in 2012. Alex Clare was there in 2013. I think you're right, Lorde 2014. Nate, I'm totally with you on that. I'm with you, Jason. Everyone, Jessica, everyone saying Lorde, I totally agree.
Yeah, and I know that they have a new album coming out. I'd love to see Broken Bells. Danger Mouse, obviously.
Yes.
Somebody who's been there in the past with Gnarls Barkley, but I think it's time for Broken Bells. I was really disappointed when they didn't tour, or when they didn't go to Coachella that first time around. And I think the new album's going to be really good if it's any indication with the new song. So seeing them there would be fantastic.
And I think And I feel like with their tour dates too, I don't know if anyone else can like jump in on this, but I feel like with the tour dates, it kind of left it open that it looks like Coachella could definitely be a possibility.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but it's definitely. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for it. I got some other names.
So let's see. Yeah, tell us.
Everything. A little bit kind of an alt
Yes.
sound, and I know Alt J was huge last year, and I couldn't even get anywhere near the tent to see them. They played a lot of the European festivals last year. Have an album that came out not too long ago over here. I think they'd be good. King Cruel, I'm all about him. 19-year-old young British guy. He just toured here. I think he's coming back to LA next month, but seeing him would be great. I know he's getting a lot of good press.
Is he like the Jake Bugg of 2014?
A little bit different sound. He's a little bit more kind of grungier sounding, not like grunge music, but just a little bit more rough sounding. Jake Bugg's a little bit more, a little more upbeat. But if you haven't seen King Cruel, you should definitely check him out. He's got a really good song called Rock Bottom, and it's got a little bit of a mix of. I mean, it's got a jazzy sound to it a little bit of almost punk sound. I mean, it's a mix of everything. I can't even describe. And I know Disclosure was there last year. I'd love to see them come back. I didn't even know who they were last year, and I didn't get a chance to see them, and I was kind of disappointed after I finally heard who they were and what they sounded like. So I'm hoping that they would come back, but I don't know, since they were just there. That's a tough one.
But it could happen. Like Sleigh Bells did 2 years in a row, and I have a feeling I think Sleigh Bells will be back again in 2014 as well.
Yeah, it could be. I know that, yeah, like you said, they had the 2 years in a row. And I know other bands have done it. I'm hoping Disclosure will. I know that they've been around for most of the year. They just played here in LA, not too long ago, maybe a month or so ago. So, it's a possibility. Another band I'd really like to see, I had a chance to see them open up for a band called Stereophonics a couple weeks ago at the band called The Wind and the Wave. And I don't know if anybody even knows who they are. Their album's not even out yet. But they're really good. It's It's a guy and a girl playing acoustic guitar, and the two people play acoustic guitar, and they have programmed the drums and stuff in. But it's a really good vibe, and it's a good sound. And if anybody hasn't heard them, that's definitely one to keep your fingers crossed on. They're out of Austin, Texas.
Well, that's a good place to be from. I mean, especially if they're opening for Stereophonics, I think that gives them that cred where they could totally play Coachella.
Yeah, it would be really good to see. I mean, they said that when they opened, that their success is kind of building kind of quick. Everything was just kind of took off really fast, and they were still in the process of recording their album. And I would love to see them. And then I have a friend who tells me I've got to throw out Chase and Status. They were there a couple years ago. Obviously, a big electronic following. I think they'd be another big one to return. Plus, their new album just came out. So,
right on, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I think we have some more going on in the live chat. I think Tim's gonna come back, and then we're gonna play with some Magic Coachella 8-Ball. If we haven't talked about a band that you want to know about, let us know in the chat window. You can ask a question by hitting the question button or letting us know in the chat window. It's gonna be fun. Tim, you've been keeping an eye on it. Like I've seen some, I think somebody mentioned Lana Del Rey. I don't know. Do you want to let's go to the Coachella Magic 8-Ball?
No, Tom mentioned Lana Del Rey, and I'm using my veto power on that one. Sorry, Tom. Before we start, though, I did see that the festival guy has some picks, so if he would like to put them in the chat window there, we would be more than happy to talk about them, right?
Oh, yeah. Festival guy Tucker, who has gone to something like 50 festivals in the last 2 years. Tucker is one of the best people out there. He tells you all about, we I ran into him we didn't actually run into each other at Lightning in a Bottle. We tried to, but Tucker is great people. So Tucker has some picks. In the meantime, somebody else mentioned Tom Waits. I would kill to see Tom Waits. I want him at that Leonard Cohen spot, that Sunset spot at the outdoor theater, and it would be creepy. And I mean, I think I might be more freaked out than when I saw Nick Cave last year, because Nick Cave kind of scared me, even though it was awesome. But I would love to see him play that Sunset set. I know Imran is totally on board, and EPJ too. Some other people are mentioning MGMT. Yeah, I can give her take on
Okay,
DMT, but
we
they've
got
got,
one from
yeah,
the
Imran's
festival
right.
today.
They alienate the crowd.
Here's his one choice.
Crystal Method. Crystal Method has played. Crystal Method has played. They have a new album coming out. They are friends of the festival. I think it's a great pick. I like it. I like the idea of the Crystal Method. They will. I wouldn't be surprised to see
Oh
them
wait,
Friday night close the main
wait a
stage.
second. Nate's gonna make you mad. Boom.
Oh no, no, Nate, no. Okay, I can't hear an air horn now without like having like post-traumatic stress disorder from that set when Amy Winehouse had to cancel. Like that year, like I just like I still twitch. I twitch when I hear an air horn because I immediately think of MIA. See, even Tom says no. Tom was there with me. Like my ears, they still hurt. They still hurt.
Should we get to some questions from down here for the 8 ball?
I have yeah.
Okay, so
Let's get to the questions for the
I'm just
8 ball. Let's
I'll
do
throw them
it.
out there. So here's one from Jason Bowen.
Okay. Yes, Jason, who we had, he said, how much do we believe these Outcast rumors? It's like Bowie and Daft Punk rumors. We talked about Outcast a little bit. The thing that makes me believe that Outcast could happen is that Billboard reported it. Even though they had unnamed sources, Billboard wouldn't put something like that up lightly. Revolt TV, which Dave and I like kind of talked about a little bit, I don't trust them. They're like, oh my God, it's confirmed, it's happening. And I already like griped about my whole thing with Instagram. Like seriously, I could totally go on Instagram and be like, you know, they're reanimating John Lennon, Coachella 2014, and people might take me at my word.
I like that one.
Hit me with the next one, Tim.
We got one here from Araceli. She left already, but she is a
Boards of Canada for us EDM listeners. Yeah, okay, Araceli, we got to get her next time. We got to get Araceli on camera. She's been to every Coachella. She has gone every year since the beginning. And like, you want to talk about Coachella fans, and she goes for it all. Like, she will go to the rock show. She will go to the Sahara tent. Like, Araceli is awesome. So, Araceli, I love that pick. I don't really know a lot about Boards of Canada, but I hope for your sake, if you want to see them, I hope that Golden Voice makes that your dream come true.
okay. Now,
So, but hold on, I'll ask Magic
yeah,
8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball, will Boards of Canada be there? Magic 8 Ball says so very no. Oh, sorry,
well, now,
Araceli.
Vanessa, we have a question from one of our good friends, Frogman Scott. That's not his real name. That's I think that's his married name. So let's ask the Magic 8 Ball his question.
Oh, will the Talking Heads get back together at Coachella? I'm gonna because I have my own opinion on this. Oh, and Coachella Magic 8 Ball says so very no. That's pretty much my feeling about it as well. I would love to see it. They kind of hate each other.
Oh, well, what are you gonna do? So Tom has one. Tom, this is an interesting one.
Lily Allen. You know, somebody else mentioned Lily Allen to me recently as well. It's been a while since she's been there. She had a really good reception last time. So let's ask Magic 8 Ball, will Lily Allen be there? Yes. Quit asking, it says. Okay.
I think it's Tom.
So Magic 8 Ball predicts Lily Allen.
Well,
I should note that there is nothing scientific about the Coachella Magic 8 Ball. It's not even a Coachella Magic 8 Ball. We just made it one today.
Tom just changed his mind. Hold on, let me fix that. Boom, there we go. It went from stupid to smart like overnight. Oh wait, before we talk,
we all hope Magic 8 Ball.
I'm going to give Nate the best comment here.
Wow, Nate. Nate is hard. Nate was also bashing the Wham reunion that Dan Thomas and I were talking about on Facebook. And I like, seriously, if I get a reunion, I want it to be Wham. Andrew Ridgely, I'm sure he needs something to do. And George Michael would totally go over well with the Coachella crowd.
Oh wait, we got one from Dean.
Just
Here we
saying.
go. I'm going to pick one from Dean. The Magic 8 Ball. Here we go, Dean.
Okay. Culture Club. Okay. All right, Dean. Magic 8 Ball, will Culture Club be there? And I think we broke. Oh, so very no. Man, the Magic 8 Ball is like pretty anti everything right now.
Here's another one from Jason. Let's ask the 8 Ball this.
About Wham?
Sure.
Wham? Okay, Wham, Magic 8 Ball, Wham. Nopers. Oh, that's what it says.
EPJ has one.
Nopers. Oh, EPJ just brought up something really interesting. Depeche Mode and/or Tears for Fears. I like both of those. I think Depeche Mode. They just did a huge set of shows at the Staples Center. I think that sold out in something ridiculously fast. I wouldn't be surprised to see them. I don't know what their touring plans are. Tears for Fears has been a band I thought would be there for the last like 3 years, and I would love to see both of them. So let's ask Magic 8 Ball, do you think that Depeche Mode will be at Coachella? No. I mean, yes. Okay, so Magic 8 Ball doesn't know. And then Tears for Fears, will you be at Coachella? Magic 8 Ball says could happen. Okay, thanks, Magic 8
You know who
Ball.
would like,
Oh, and Jason says they've got a new one next summer. That's
you know who
good.
would like Tears for Fears is our good friend Mike Leone. He would be outside the fence, like trying to get in there.
He would, I think so. And don't try to do that. They actually put grease on the fences, and they will, like, you will impale yourself, and that would be bad.
Jason.
Oh, Jason says, I love a Boomtown Rats reunion. They played some shows last year. I would love a Boomtown Rats reunion as well. Magic 8 Ball, Boomtown Rats. So very no. I think this Magic 8 Ball's broken. I think it's broken. Nate, I don't even think Nate, can you pull up Nate's comment about the Mogwai? I think Mogwai, we can ask the 8 Ball about it, and I think Mogwai is a lock. They've announced their tour dates, and there's a big giant Coachella hole there, and it kind of fits the criteria for everything else. I think they've got a new album coming out. They are touring elsewhere, but not in Southern California. So Coachella Magic 8 Ball, do you think Mogwai will be at Coachella? Definitely, dude. Hey, Nate, I think you're right. I think you're onto something. Magic 8 Ball likes you.
Wait, can we do something really quick?
Oh, Jason just commented something interesting. Kurt Smith would. Yeah.
Here's the fun thing. What is that Magic 8 Ball really, right? It's really from Psych, right?
It's really
And
from Psych, the TV show Psych, which we love.
Psych's favorite guest star?
Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears, who apparently will not comment about Coachella on Twitter.
Here we got another one from Jason.
Oh, last year they had some local bands. How about New Division? I really hope the New Division is there. I think that we actually have a really strong contingent of local bands, and I'm going to tell you the ones I think could be there. I think it could be the New Division. I think that the Summer Twins could be there. I think Naive Thieves could be there. I think the Bell Rays would be the greatest thing ever, and everyone's minds would like implode from awesomeness. Or you could have the Dangers, who, by the way, are our PE Live guests this week. And Lisa and Bob from the Bell Rays are in the Dangers as well, and just did a stellar set. But that's my little plug for local music. We have a great scene here. So Coachella Magic 8 Ball. Will the New Division, who has collaborated with Coachella artist Keep Shelley from Athens, or Keep Shelley in Athens, Shelley Athens, they're from Greece. Will they be at Coachella, New Division? Dude, really, it says. Oh my gosh, Dean Landis. Dean Landis, you might be my new favorite person. I love Converge. I want Converge to be there. I love that pick. I thought that they were going to be there last year. I really, really, really wanted them to be there because they'd like gone back together and done some shows, and they didn't come out here, and I'm still like shaking my fist in anger. So Coachella Magic 8 Ball, will Converge be there? Nopers. Oh, I think the Magic 8 Ball's wrong. I think this Magic 8 Ball is broken.
Well, I got someone else earlier mentioned the Dillinger Escape Plan. So what about that?
They've played Coachella before, and they were awesome. I think the dude like might have broken like one of the speakers like climbing up it. It was epic. So Dillinger Escape Plan. No, Magic 8 Ball says, man, this Magic 8 Ball is really negative.
It is.
It's like harshing my happiness with the Coachella like.
Well, here's the best.
Yeah, see, Brad's with me.
Here's the best one we need to ask the Magic 8 Ball. That I think it's muy importante that we ask about Tool. But what I think you should do is throw the 8 Ball against the wall and see what happens.
Wow, I'm not going to throw it. But Tool is big. I mean, Tool, people love them. They haven't played in a long time. Maynard James Keenan was there with Pussifer last year. And I think that, like, I was actually talking about this with the EPJ, and I've talked about it with a few other people. I think it would be great for them to be there, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I hope it happens very soon. Let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. And hold on, Magic 8 Ball Tool says, wait for it.
That's a good sign.
I don't know what that means.
Did Tom come in and talk to you about Lana Del Rey? Tell him to be quiet about that.
He didn't. Well, you guys have been so awesome. Thank you so much for asking questions. You can actually find me Like we can find me everywhere. We don't need to do this just here. I appreciate you all being there. You can follow the audiophile blog. It's blog.pe.com/audio-file. You can find me on Twitter at Vanessa Franco. You can find me on Facebook. Just go to pe.com/iGuide. We're there. I do this all the time. It's called Coachellaology. As we get closer to the festival announcement coming out in January, we post the predictions, why people think that they're going to be there. Everyone who sent me stuff so far, thank you so much. You're amazing. Like this, I'm so glad that other people get as into like Coachella prognostication as I do, because then it makes me feel like maybe I am not alone in like the fact that I just sit here and look at Polestar and look at tort routing all the time. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Please come back again. We'd love to do this again. Thank you for being here and for your great questions, for your suggestions, and to everyone who appeared on camera. Thank you. You are all awesome and can't wait to do it again.